9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage with the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
It is Wednesday night once again, and that means it's time for another Auburn Family Night. This is our weekly live call-in show where you, the Auburn family, take center stage. It is all about your questions, your comments, topics, and calls, all coming up in this weekly live stream. Let's get into it right now. War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live here on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever we're broadcasting, wherever you're finding this, where we talk about the Auburn experience. What is that Auburn experience? It's all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff, and maybe an easier way to put it for you about what we're about here is if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So we thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today on this particular live stream. As is typically the case, we like to get together on Wednesday nights for Auburn Family Night, where we talk to you. We always talk to you, but we talk a lot to you about your topics. This is one of those times where I call myself the puppet and you all are the puppeteers. I obviously have plenty that I can find for us to talk about, but I wanted to discuss the topics centralized around the orange and blue, sports or otherwise, current events or otherwise, that you are most focused on. So we'll get into that. Your comments, questions, topics, and calls. Speaking of calls, it is live call-in night, so that is now available for you if you'd like to take advantage of that this evening. It's brought to you by our friends at allthingsauburn.net. Please do check them out if you want a great place to stay in Auburn, but also not to stay, but also to have a great Auburn experience as I try to find my banner. They move things around on me. There we go. It is live. It is active. We've already got people lining up, so we'll start getting them in just a little bit. To take calls from them, but we'll do some opening stuff for you all this evening. A couple things you could do for us. If you like this type of stuff, man, smash that like button. It's a huge help to us personally, but it's also a help to your fellow Auburn family members. Lets them know that we're live. It lets them know that they should come check the replay out, that they should just see what's going on. The more people that find this stuff, the more our little family within the Auburn family grows. Thanks for returning if you are a returner. If you're new here, we hope that we'll see you back here from time to time. We've got some people already checking in with us to say hello and wishing everybody happy New Year's and War Eagles galore all across the Auburn landscape. So do all that for us. And if you want to take advantage of that call-in link, all you've got to do, am I knocking the camera around? New setup here, by the way. New setup. Not really that new for you all, but for me it is. If you want to take advantage, if I start bouncing around to 1,000 different things, if you want to take advantage of the call-in link, it should be available on YouTube. I know, pinned at the top. All you got to do is click the link. It's very easy. Click it. It's done. It's over with. And you don't have to do any other like passcodes or anything like that. And you then just choose, do you want to be on camera or off camera? It can just be like a phone call if you don't want to show your face. And there's no shame in that. I get it's a weird thing sometimes to show your face out there. But please do. We hear from a lot of our regulars. We'd love to hear from some of you all that don't call in all that often. We get a lot of regulars here, but not a lot of you call in. So I'm going to actually make a request to you, the audience. You will make my 2025 start off on a great note. Is even if you'll just pop in, say hello real quick, and then get off the line. But you should stay on longer than that. So if you're here, give it a try. Hit the link, call into us, and let's hear from you. We'll talk to you this evening. Like I said, we'll start taking calls here in just a second, but we'll get things kind of warmed up, primed up as you guys think about comments, questions, and topics that you may have on top of your mind. We're obviously sitting brand new year 2025, which brings back memories of 2024, thinking about all the great Auburn things that happened, and obviously not so great Auburn things too, and what we have to look forward to in 2025. So we can certainly do a little bit of a reminisce, look back. We can talk about Auburn Christmas. I've shared it on some other streams and stuff, what I've received for Christmas this year that's Auburn related. So we certainly could do that if that's on the table for you. In the news realm, we are obviously about to begin SEC basketball play. That's what's part of the kind of the list of things that I had ready to talk to you guys about tonight. SEC basketball with Missouri, Auburn's amazing non-conference performance, only losing to Duke in Cameron Indoor, shows that they're one of the best in college basketball. Plenty to talk about there. If you guys still want to talk about some portal stuff, that can be out there too. Because, as Trevon Reed once said and probably continues to say to this day, we ain't done yet, or at least it feels like we're not. So you guys pick where we go from here. Don't be shy. Get involved in the chat. Smash that like button if you haven't, and we'll start with our night getting going here. We're taking our first caller. He's one of our regulars, one of our go-tos. You know him, you love him. There he is. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, we will be number one before the basketball season's over.
I believe we are set up very nicely, Kevin, to be able to do that. We've got off to a great start. So even when you fall a little bit playing in SEC play, you shouldn't fall too bad because they've seen us go up against some of the best that college basketball has to offer. And now we're about to go play in what is arguably the best basketball conference this year thus far, and that's the SEC.
Did we go on the road the next week to Texas?
Yes, we do. So we got Missouri this Saturday in Neville Arena, and then we're going to go to Texas. That's kind of a cool way to start out, isn't it? The brand new to the SEC in general, and then we get to go see them for the first time as a conference opponent. I think that's pretty cool.
And I think we can beat those two teams too.
I think Auburn right now, if I forget who gave me that metric, but they said wherever they were checking at the time that Auburn was favored to win all matchups in some type of vote, except for Alabama and Tuscaloosa right now. Well, actually, no, I think they said they're still predicted to win all of them, but the lowest was Alabama in Tuscaloosa. So, look, I think if Auburn continues to do what they've shown us, they will be in a good position to win all their games, but it's going to be tough to do it in the SEC.
When is that game at Tuscaloosa?
I don't have the schedule in front of me right now. I don't have my monitor pulled up for me this time. I didn't get that set up, so I unfortunately won't be able to bring that to you, but we can certainly speculate.
But Auburn had good news today that Jemiah Wright is coming back.
Yeah, I was wondering if somebody would bring it up. I saw that I was traveling back from some last holiday family events today, and as I was in the car, not doing my turn of driving, but I saw that Jeremiah Wright had announced he would return for offensive line. I think he's definitely, not taking anything away from anybody else on the offensive line, but I think he's certainly been a mainstay for us and one of those guys that if you have more eligibility for him to use, you want him back. So I'm very happy about that.
I hope that Miller kid be back too.
Xavier Miller, too tall? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, too tall.
Yeah, I think there's some speculation out there about him. I haven't heard one way or the other. Doesn't mean it hasn't been announced yet. It would be a nice piece to add back into that room. Obviously, the offensive line has been very inconsistent this year and hasn't been great as a unit, not as individuals, as a unit for a while now. So we're hoping this year is the year that we kind of kick started in the right direction,
Hopefully you see Auburn at the top.
Yeah, man, I'm hoping so. But obviously, it doesn't really matter what the rankings say right now. What matters is who is standing on top at the end of the year. And Auburn looks like one of those teams that can certainly do it.
Yeah. And I think you will see Cam Coleman have the best year ever.
Well, he's only had 1 year, so it wouldn't be hard to have the best year ever. But certainly I hope he can replicate and do better than what he did last year. I think he will have a center stage, appearance for him.
27 touchdowns in one season.
27 touchdowns in one season. Well, Keandre Lambert-Smith had a lot of touchdowns this year. In fact, I'll look it up for you right now. And he has already been called one of the best Auburn wide receiving seasons in quite some time. And I don't think there's anybody that's going to disagree with that.
Good, too.
He was good too. Yes. So he had 8 touchdowns. So I think you might be a little bit off for 27 touchdowns in one season. But I think if Cam Coleman could hit into like the 10 touchdown margin, that would be a very successful second season for him. What else you got in your mind?
And I hope our women's basketball team will beat Ole Miss tomorrow night.
Yeah, I haven't really dove into their schedule for SEC quite and familiarized myself, but I'm going to try to. Now that, like I said, the holidays are over, I'm kind of getting myself back in the routine of paying attention to everything. So we'll try to make sure we give you guys updates on them when we can on the Auburn Experience podcast and whenever we talk about it here.
I love the new show you got.
The new show? Which new show?
I'm talking about the different room.
The different room? Well, there's not much different. What do you notice that's different?
The pictures.
Well, the pictures have always been there.
Oh.
Now I will tell you, this Aubie plate right here.
Yeah.
That is new because I finally got a thing to help it stand up, and that's a Auburn Santa Aubie plate. So we probably won't have him up here much longer. The Christmas stuff will be coming down soon, unfortunately.
Is the basketball game be on TV?
I would imagine so. I don't think there's going to be any SEC game that's not going to have a TV on it. You know.
Oklahoma plays Alabama.
Yeah, we'll have to watch and see what happens there. I am focused on the games that are ahead for Auburn versus Missouri and Auburn versus Texas this week. So who do you think wins those to close out our time together?
Auburn will.
Auburn wins both of them? All right, you heard it here first from our friend Kevin. Kevin, buddy, always good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in.
Tell all the callers I said, hey.
I will do that, sir. I think a lot of them heard you loud and clear, too. But thanks for calling.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Bye.
Bye, War Eagle. All right, that was our friend Kevin. Good to hear from him. He's one of our regulars. Like I've told you guys, see, he knows it's easy to do so. Just smash that link in the top of the YouTube. Here's what I'll do. I'll put it in the comments again. If you're watching on Facebook, it's really easy, guys. I promise. I know a lot of you can't because you're, at different locations. Some of you watch while you're at work, which is, I hope you're not working on New Year's Day. But sure, give it a try. A lot of you I've seen here for a while now. Give it a try and give it a call. We'd love for you. I think one of my New Year's goals is to get our regular audience more used to utilizing this, because that's what helps other people get energized and wanting to utilize the call-in link. I mean, this is y'all's show on Wednesday night. You get to take center stage. You get to dictate where we go in the conversation. So make sure you utilize that to the fullest. Okay. Chris, I have no clue who those people are. And I have sometimes when I don't recognize the name as readily, and unless I'm just not figuring out who this is, I'm hesitant to even bring the question up onto the, I think I know what's going on there. We're going to probably even delete that comment right there, because I don't think we've got anything productive to come out of that. It's sad that you have to be skeptical in this world of people who think they're being clever and stuff like that. And it's just kind of sad. All right. What's on y'all's minds tonight? Let's get this going. I know we've been out of routine of doing this show on a regular basis. I do think we will have very little conflict with basketball this year. Now, I will tell you that you do need to keep in mind that when there is a basketball game at the 7:00 hour, we won't be doing these shows. And I think that's twice this season. So, and I think they're all later, if I'm not mistaken. If there's a 9:00 Eastern time tip off, we will do the show right before that and kind of get you leading into it. And I just realized that my lights had fallen off. Look at this. I told y'all Christmas was about to end. That's just frustrating right there. We're going to put that right there. Hopefully it doesn't make anything fall. Christmas is falling apart here. This isn't Auburn related, but I don't know if any of you guys had the wind that we had down here a couple of days ago, or even just yesterday, all of my Christmas lights on like one section of my house got blown off because some of them are hung up there very precariously. Probably should do a better job of that. And they got blown off here. So this just kind of appropriate that these got removed here. All right. I think we've got another caller ready. Brian, I think you're there. I saw you there for a second, but now it is pitch black. So I'm not sure that you're actually still connected. So give me a signal or something back there in the green room because I see nothing right now. We'll give it a try. Brian's trying to call in. Brian, you there? Nope. I had a feeling. Brian, try to call in again and we'll get you on the phone line. Desperado, I think, is also what was this saying? You call us or we call you? What do you mean? You call us. You click the link up at the top, especially if you're on YouTube. All right, I think we got Brian on this one. Brian, you're showing up in two different calls, so let me get rid of the other one. Let's try this one. Oh, hey, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right,
Can't
War
see you,
Eagle.
but I can hear you.
Well, yeah, I'm driving home from a Buffalo Wild Wings. I was trying to watch that football game, but it's just a disaster. So.
Oh, what a disaster. What a disaster that is. And I thought it was the lower seeded teams that the ones that didn't deserve to be there.
Right. I mean, does this kind of end the you don't deserve to be there argument?
No, there's going to be people that's all that's like their only narrative they have. Let's just let people make it however the rules are, be there and go play football and just see what happens, Just enjoy the fact that you got football. I can't abide people just complaining. Oh, this wasn't, you do realize we didn't have a playoff like this before this. Just enjoy. Anyway, you got me on a rant already.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
War Eagle. So I'm good. I've been very torn though between trying to decide how disappointed I am that Auburn's not in a bowl game, even if it's Birmingham or Music City or whatever.
Right.
Versus, and then I'm like, we have the best basketball team in the country. Like,
right.
it's just like tearing my Auburn heart apart, right? So I'm choosing because I tend to go optimistic to just be like, we have the best basketball team in the country. So
right. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's why we talk about the Auburn experience here. So when the other things are down, it doesn't affect you as bad.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice for the team to have been in a bowl game,
right?
Because they could have used. We all recognize they could have used
more practice,
the practice, the play time, all that kind of stuff. But
also time on task, as the coaches say.
Yes, that would have been very beneficial. But it's also hard to be like, yeah, that would have been nice, but can we just enjoy what we're experiencing right now with a number 2 effectively team? But I think
we're the best team in the country.
I mean,
right now.
I think Tennessee and Auburn, one of those that game will go. Whoever plays at home is going to probably win it because they're both very good teams.
We're at home.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like at home this year we'll probably win if we continue the way we are. But if we were to play them at their place, they might get the win.
Bit different story, yeah.
What would tell the story is the neutral site. The neutral site would probably show you who truly is the better team, and who knows, we might see each other in March Madness.
Oh, I think we're going to see each other in the SEC tournament for sure.
Yes, and that's another one.
My first concern is I'm flying home from Tampa that day that we play, and like my flight needs to be on time because I do not want to miss that game.
Right. Good luck with that. In the way that things go these days with flights.
Beautiful Delta. Yeah, Delta will be kind to me, I hope, but we'll find out, or at least give me an airplane with live TV on it. I walked into my local Buffalo Wild Wings where they know me too well, and they're like, "Hey, what time does Auburn play?" And I'm like, 3:00 on Saturday. That's when we play. Best team in the country. Be ready. Be ready. So no, it's fun, and I'm excited. It's basketball season, but I do admit I've been a little bummed the last week that we're not playing in a bowl game. So for all the reasons we just talked about, but it's just, I really, really hope next year we're back to at least being a bowl eligible team, and I hope it's better than that. So
I think we will be.
I do too.
But certainly right now, and it's easy to get down in the dumps about all those things. But I think we'll be heading in the right direction. Let me back on basketball. Let me ask you, and I'm gonna ask anybody else that calls in. We're sitting here on the eve of SEC play.
Yep.
I think Austin and I don't know who else listened to the show when we talked about what our season predictions were.
Yep.
What do you think about SEC play now? Now that you've seen how Auburn's produced, how the SEC is produced, what is if you had to say Auburn only has this many losses or has this many losses, what would you say in SEC play?
You got
18 games, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, we do. And is it weird to say this might be the best conference in college basketball?
It's not weird. It is true.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, I don't think we have more than 4, and I don't think people should freak out if we have 4.
Right.
I mean, 100%. I think that's there is something to be gained by having a loss. Mm-hmm. There's teaching in that. I mean, but if Janai's healthy and they do the things they do, I mean, I don't see more than 4. What did you guys come up with? I'll admit I haven't listened to that episode yet.
I think Austin predicted 4 losses and I predicted 5. And I always like to predict a little bit more to set up myself for expectations, to be overwhelmed than underwhelmed.
Did you go to who they're to?
I think what we did was we just kind of looked at it like in 3 sections and said, this group feels like we would get out of it unscathed. This group feels like we would get out of it with 1 loss, 2 losses. And I think what I came up with was there's going to be a stretch some point in SEC play where Auburn's going to string together 2 losses because it's just that difficult. So I think it just happens. Right. And I liked what you said. People should not freak out if Auburn takes a few losses in SEC play. Every team is going to do that because the conference is that good this year, and just enjoy it. I've seen so many people be afraid of it. Just enjoy it.
And let's just be honest. I mean, whether it's us or Tennessee, whoever's 1 or 2, whatever it is, you're going to get everyone's best shot.
Yep.
You've got a target on your back. Everyone's coming for you, right? Yep. So there's no reason to be. When you're going to take everyone's best shot, some of them might hit. I mean, they just might. So
they might.
People have bad nights. I mean, teams have bad nights. I mean, you could lose to Yale in an NCAA game.
Oh God, you brought that up. Oh,
I'm sorry. I don't like it either. But I mean, it happened, right? I'm just saying. If we play Yale 10 times, how many times do we win? 9.
9.
Yeah, that was a bad day.
It was a bad day.
So you can have a bad Tuesday in February where you lose to somebody. You just can't.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And I think that's where. So don't freak out. Enjoy it. This team, come March, will be more than ready to do what we all want them to do. I do think this team, even more than last year, is prepared to make a deep run. I mean, that doesn't mean the Final Four. That means Sweet 16 or better, right? But I think they'll do that. I mean, they are so much fun. They're a good team. Just enjoy the heck out of watching them. So.
And here's the thing too for all of us in the South. If Auburn performs well enough in conference play, the tournament, they could find themselves very favorably seated for the South region. And folks, where is the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 for the South region being played this year?
Is that the Mercedes?
Atlanta, Georgia, baby. And you can bet this guy will be there.
Well, if that happens, I might need to find one of those cheap $180 flights to Atlanta and get my butt down. That would be fun.
I'm telling you, I was talking with the family I was today, and they're big basketball fans too, Auburn basketball fans, but just college basketball fans. And we were all talking. They're like, because they're in Birmingham. He's like, the first round, if they get a certain region, would be here. You come in. I said, well, it'll depend on what region they get, because I'm going to save it for the Sweet 16 Elite 8, which I've never been to. I've only been to the opening round of a tournament. So it's so easy for me to go there. And I know it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. So I don't want to have any excuses. Just click the button, take the tickets, go.
But I've been to one Final Four. It was fun. It was in Indianapolis. It was the year the Gophers were in it, not in it. Yeah. I literally saved my money to go to the championship game when Auburn was here in Virginia, double-barreled, and ruined my Monday night. But yeah,
you're bringing up all the bad memories tonight.
Well, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying, like, I was there. I think I've told you before. Like, literally 10 minutes from my house, There's a brewery. We have a lot of breweries here. There's a brewery, and the owner of it went to Auburn.
Right.
So it is like the Auburn watch party place. And during the Final Four, we had the band, the cheerleaders, Charles Barkley. I mean, everyone from everywhere. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So I watched there, and my plan was we're going to win this game, and I'm going to go Monday night.
And
it didn't happen. But but it was a good plan. But
it
was a great plan. But no, I don't see him losing more than 4. I really don't.
Yeah. I would feel I'd feel comfortable with a 4-loss prediction. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the 5 range.
Yeah.
Just because how competitive it is. The reality is Auburn has already shown its ability to beat good teams away from home, and so they have already kind of built that pedigree already. So they can only
since we're playing the prediction game, let me ask you 2 questions.
Sure.
One. Let's just go to Selection Sunday. Where are they ranked in the country? Like we're number 2 today. What are we then? And what seed are we on Selection Sunday? This is just fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to predict that we have 4 losses.
Yep.
And it obviously depends on when those losses come and who they are to.
For sure.
But I think we could find ourselves easily inside the top 5, even with those 4 losses.
Yep.
If that's the case, it really just depends on who else is there. Because if Tennessee is having, a great season still too, they might be a little bit leery of putting Tennessee and Auburn as 1 seeds. I'm going to say right now the highest 2 seed, just because I feel like that's the safe bet. I'm going to go with the highest possible 2 seed. Hopefully,
the highest 2. So the 5 overall in the tournament.
Yes, that is what I'm going to predict right now, just to be safe. I'm trying to prepare myself.
Yeah, I would have put us as a 2, and I don't know which 2, but a 2. And I'm hopeful we're the SEC champs, so we get that South Regional. So.
Oh man, it would be so beautiful because I'm already excited because we're planning to go to Baylor this year. For the football game, I want to do some more road E2C stuff for you guys, and so we'll get the opportunity with Baylor. 99.9%
What
sure
is
this
what
year.
is the date for Baylor again? It's September, right?
8:30, I think. So August 30th, I think, or 31st.
I should probably just put that on my calendar and go.
Yeah. So I will. I'll be there most likely, and so I would hope that we could add because Atlanta. I live outside of Atlanta, so. Right. It's like, drive in for a little bit and then maybe jump on MARTA if you want to, do that or whatever.
How far out of Atlanta are you?
It's probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Something depends on the day. It depends on the day.
I know Atlanta traffic, but yeah.
All right. Give me.
Well, War Eagle, man. Happy New Year.
Well, before you go, before you go, I want to get a prediction from you. I like getting predictions from people. Give me.
They're fun, right?
Yes, they are. I'm trying to think of a good one for you.
Okay.
Who does Auburn lose to?
What are you thinking? The Great White North? We have no snow on the ground, just so you know.
None. Hey, we're supposed to be getting some down.
None.
I got it now. Who does Auburn lose to?
You can have it.
Yeah. Who does Auburn lose to this year in basketball? You have to pick one. Kentucky, Arkansas, or Florida. If they have to lose to one of them, who is it? Kentucky's at their place, if that helps you.
I know. Where's Arkansas?
I think Arkansas is here. And then I think, or Auburn, I'm not
Florida's there, though, right?
I think
I'm going to say Florida, actually. I'm going to say Florida.
I was to say, people are going to sneakily pick that Kentucky because of Rupp Arena, but people forget that we have not had a good history.
And Kentucky's not Kentucky right now. And Florida's, we struggle at Florida for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one. When is that game? Do you know?
I need to. I should have had the schedule pulled up. I don't have it right now, but I'll pull it up and we'll talk about it a little bit.
So I'm going to Tampa. Like literally, it was like a Cyber Monday deal. It was like 10,000 miles and $12 for the 3rd week in January. And like literally, I have no plans other than I'm going to work from home and I'm just going to work at an Airbnb in Tampa. And I'm trying to look at like who do we play that week and could I rent a car and drive up to Auburn and watch basketball? But I don't know. It's got to be a hard ticket though.
Oh, if Auburn's on it in basketball, it's a hard ticket these days.
Yeah. Are you going to any games?
Not right now. I'm not playing. I have a plan to be at Auburn for the Tennessee weekend, but have you seen
Yeah.
the ticket prices? There's just a
No, I
lot
haven't
going
looked,
on.
but I'm sure
There's
it's
a
off
lot
the charts.
going on that weekend, so I'll be there to do some coverage for you guys, but
It was
most
like
likely won't be in the game.
it was like last weekend here in Minnesota to watch, because I know you got this Wisconsin connection, to watch the Vikings play the Packers last week. The top row of US Bank Stadium was $450 to get in the door,
Oh, yeah.
plus fees.
I'm not shocked at that. I'm not shocked about that at all.
No, I'm not either. It was I watched it from my couch. But yeah.
Right.
So, all right. War Eagle, Happy New Year. Keep
War
doing
Eagle.
what you're doing.
Thank
Love
you.
this place, man. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Brian. Bye. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Brian. That was good to hear from Brian. We've heard from Kevin. You guys can also take advantage of the call-in link too if you'd like to. Don't be shy. It is not difficult at all. All you got to do is hit that link, and you can be on camera or off camera. I know you've seen two people. Well, Brian was kind of on camera, not really, but he was at least somewhat in some ways. He was driving, trying to be safe. But it's really that easy. So just hit the link at the top here on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, it should be in the chat there somewhere. Give it a try if you want to. We had a couple comments during this that we'll try to address. I think some of those we brought up as they were appropriate during the show or during our call there. Tim says Missouri has a lot of height on their team. So this is about Auburn versus Missouri coming up. We will be challenged to win the rebound advantage. Our shooting percentages will have to be better than Missouri to ensure the win. The one good thing that we have, really good thing that we have going here is that this is at home. So you really can't ask for a better setup for the start of conference play is let me just make sure I'm not mistaken on that. You know how you start saying something and you're like, is that actually true? But Saturday, Auburn, yes, in Neville Arena. I don't know why I questioned myself. I think that's going to help a lot. Certainly some height could present a unique challenge for Auburn, but I think their big men are ready for the task there. So we'll see how that all shakes out for them. I see BP's picture. When is he on? No, he's not on here ever. I would love for Coach Pearl to make an appearance on the show. But we just a promo image is all it is. Just that's it. Unbeaten Lake says 11 years ago tonight, I was at the Sugar Bowl surrounded by unhappy Alabama fans on all sides for 4 hours. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Maybe I should be, but it doesn't sound Auburn related. So other than the misery of Alabama, but anyway, let's see here. We had Desperado predicted a 15-3 record for SEC play for Auburn earlier in the stream. So if you guys have any thoughts on the SEC record, there's 18 games. Let me give you the rundown of the SEC schedule again, just so that we can kind of all have it fresh in our minds. Home versus Missouri, at Texas, at South Carolina, home versus Mississippi State, at Georgia, home for Tennessee, away at LSU, at Ole Miss, home for Oklahoma, home for Florida. Brian, we were wrong. At Vanderbilt, y'all will hear me rant about that. At Alabama, home for Arkansas, home for Georgia, home for Ole Miss, at Kentucky, at Texas A&M, and then back home for Alabama and the Iron Bowl of basketball. So that gives you your round out of 18 games for Auburn's conference play and how they'll perform. Unbeaten Lake says, okay, this was his first comment. He says, when the kick six forced Alabama into the Sugar Bowl where they lost to Oklahoma 49-35. Isn't it seem like there's a trend when they have a disappointing end to their season, they kind of lay an egg in bowl games? Is that a thing? Yeah. Well, certainly we love to revel in Alabama's misery as they do ours. That's what makes it such a great rivalry. But I think about the misery of us. Was it 6 years ago today where we lost to UCF in the Peach Bowl here in Atlanta, and I was here for that. And that was a surprisingly miserably cold day. Now, I know you're like, Kyle, it's an indoor stadium. Yeah, but you got to go outdoors to get there. So, like I said, we live, in the way outskirts outside of Atlanta. So it's not like the most horrible thing for us to go into Atlanta to Auburn events there. So my wife and I, we rode in on MARTA from the north, just because we didn't want to have to deal with parking. I mean, you park there for free. The tickets, I think, are $2 a person for one way. So $8 for the day, at least that time that were. And so then you get there and you don't have no hassle of parking any of that stuff, and it drops you off right at the stadium or close to it. I remember standing outside at that MARTA with other Auburn fans who were coming in too that way. And we were just all freezing out there. I think it must have been 20s or something like that, maybe even lower than that. And the wind was whipping and all that stuff. It was awful. And then you had the game, which was also awful. I was at the game, Neil says. Took MARTA from Perimeter Mall. We were probably on the same. We went on the same path. Maybe not the same thing there. Oh my, Desperado. That was a great comment until that last part. Why do you even bring that up in here? Let's see here. Niels is asking, what's the topic tonight? Whatever you want to talk about, big dog. The offensive line has not been the same since the 2018 Peach Bowl. Didn't Stidham get sacked 8 times? I've truly blocked that out of my memory. So maybe that was it. I don't know, but it's been long enough, regardless of when it happened. It was a fun day, though. It was weird. So I went to that bowl game. We lost to UCF and gave them their little ability to go, we won the national title because we were the only undefeated team. But then we were right back there several months later, for the kickoff event for Chick-fil-A, Auburn versus Washington. And that was a much different result. It was a very exciting game. Auburn, got the win. Lots of Washington fans came down, which was very surprising for that, I thought. But that was a much better performance in Mercedes-Benz for Auburn. So I got to go to back-to-back games for Auburn in that event, in that arena. And people forget too, so that was actually 3 straight games, if I'm not mistaken, because that was unless I'm wrong, I think that was the SEC championship game too. Let's see here. Unbeaten Lake says, I remember going to the 2011 Chick-fil-A game against Virginia. When we left the stadium, we heard gunshots in the distance and just wanted to either get back into the stadium or in the car. Well, you'll have that at any big city. Atlanta is no exception to that. But obviously stay safe out there. Chick-fil-A versus Virginia. That was before we had our animosity towards them in regards to double dribbling. But that was quite the game for Barrett Trotter. Thinking about that, you have taken me back a little bit. He had gotten benched earlier in the year. Clint Mosley took over. It still didn't really get that much better. And Barrett Trotter came out there and played a pretty good game in what would be his final game as an Auburn Tiger. What a tough way to have to come in and be the guy after Cam Newton. Nobody was going to win that. That's just tough. Let's see here. Pam Meadows. Okay. I was saying who, okay. I was about to say these are all the names of our, my in-laws, but stuff. I was but hoping for a big Bruce year. Yes, we are. Pam, thanks for checking in. This is for that bowl game, Unbeaten Lake, for the 2011 Peach Bowl, the defensive MVP. Well, apparently we needed more defensive MVPs because it didn't really go that well. While I'm thinking about it, because Pam reminded me of the holidays and stuff and Christmas, I can show you guys. Some of you've already seen it. One thing that I got for Christmas, and point to one thing, and then talk about another. So the first thing I got that is Auburn somewhat related, that I'm you see my hands right here, is this new desk that I'm working off of. It's a raising desk. So it's allowed me to kind of streamline my setup for every single day. It is already in the first few days of doing, I haven't had to move a lot of things around. It's really nice. And it allows me to stand up and do some of our TikTok lives that we do and stuff like that. So it's not really Auburn related, but it's for this, which is Auburn related. Second thing, which is a visual aid, These are actually some podcasting friends, Van Allen Plexico and John Ringer. I got their book, Decades of Dominance. The ring light's showing on that, so I'm sorry, because it's a shiny cover. But anyway, it kind of goes through the 1980s to the 2010s and tells their perspectives of stories in around games and the seasons and stuff like that. So if you've never checked them out, they have a great podcast too. The Wishbone podcast. Yeah, I don't give a lot of shout outs for other podcasts, not just because I don't listen, I've never listened to them or I don't want to support others. It's just not something I do a lot of, but I will give them the shout out. They kind of were part of a group that inspired me to get started doing what I'm doing here. Yeah, we'll always give them shout outs here. The other thing I got, and I'm not wearing it tonight, but it's a blue or a navy base Auburn men's golf national championship shirt. So that is my first ever Auburn golf shirt. My goal is to have one shirt of every kind of Auburn thing there could be, sports or otherwise. Like you can get Auburn engineering shirts and stuff like that. So this might be a year of adding some of that to the arsenal here, and so y'all can have some more things other than my traditional stuff that I rotate. I need to wear my jersey more often, just because. Why not, right? I've tried to wear some hoodies more. Now listen, when this cold weather that starts running through here in the next couple of weeks gets going, y'all gonna see me wearing hoodies in here a lot, and I mean a lot, because it's gonna be cold out there, y'all. Anyway, let's see here. I feel like this is a rerun of Sunday's show. Oh, because we did the show and tell thing. Well, some people weren't there. WT, you know. WT says, I do not follow AU Golf, but that shirt looks sweet, Kyle. You should be following AU Golf. Very simple. Look, I get it's hard to kind of this comments, man. I'm trying to be good here. The golf program is hard to follow and stuff, especially if you're not into the sport. I'm not a big golf person, so it's something that I'm learning to appreciate more. I went to the East Lake Cup here in Atlanta, Georgia, which isn't too far from where I live, and watched them on championship day for a little bit, which they ended up winning, but it was great to kind of be there and experience that place. And yeah, you should go follow them a little bit, get used to it, get used to the names, and our coach Nick Kleinert, and you'll definitely not be disappointed. All right. Yes, Neil, I heard about the new punter. Yes. Make all the jokes. If you want to go see that Fun Time episode 106, you'll watch me have a moment that will live in infamy forever. Have I kept up with Trey and Aiden this year? No, so I'll be honest with you. Once someone kind of dissociates from Auburn, I don't really follow them that much, but because of, the algorithm, I get that brought into my peripheral or my vision in my feed, I guess I should say. And so I've known that Trey is doing pretty well. Trey Donaldson is who I believe he's talking about at Michigan, is doing pretty well, which I personally, I like to celebrate guys when they're having success, especially if they left in a good manner, in the right way. There's nothing wrong if you go in the transfer portal. I think Trey could have stayed, and I wish kind of he had. Trey actually listened to the show from what he personally told me. So I hate that he's not here anymore. So, but I wish him well over there. Obviously, there's a lot of bad blood with Aiden, and I don't get on this hate Aiden Holloway bandwagon that's out there. It's really toxic and kind of sad, to be honest with you. Now, listen, when we play him, I'm going to be giving him all the crap I can, especially if we beat them and if he plays poorly. I've seen people making fun of him when he's shooting poorly and stuff like that, and there's probably been some nights when he's not. I really couldn't tell you how he's doing. I know that makes me a boring person, but I just don't feel like stooping down to that level. That's kind of Bama type style of doing things, is obsessing about someone who's no longer here, part of this equation, and we're not suffering from the loss of him. No offense to him. So to me, I'm a little bit beyond that. But when the Trey Donaldsons leave, he left a pretty good note. He like KD, I'm going to celebrate him. Bo Nix left. People hated his guts, but I was going to still support him because he left as a graduate. That's kind of where I go on people who leave Auburn before they end their time in the college. I was going to say before they graduate, but people can graduate and still keep playing. It's a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know why you would ever spend time on a Bama website, Neil. It's not a good time either way. I just don't find any time to go spend over there. But hey, I guess you might find some quality entertainment value in the hilarity category over there. Anyway, okay. We're at 45 minutes. Some of you started kind of getting here a little bit later here. What do you guys want to kind of start rounding out our time with? We still got a little bit of time to talk about a few things. The phone line is open. Please take advantage of it if you haven't done so. We'd love to hear from you tonight. I know Desperado said he was shy. Don't be shy. It really isn't that bad. The hardest thing, some of our regular callers now, they just did it one day and now it's not that big of a deal. You don't have to be on camera. There's an option for you to turn your camera off. No one's going to judge you for that. It's just not some people's things, but we'd love to hear some voices, see some other faces if you want to do that. Like I said, that's my goal this year, is to try to convince some of y'all, if y'all want to make my New Year's wish come true, let's see some of you guys who have never called in before call in on Wednesday night, because this is y'all's space. Anyway, let's see here. Desperado says, I wish Trey had stayed too. He's a good young man. He follows me on Twitter. Yeah, I don't know Trey personally, other than the few conversations that I've had with him. One was at a practice, and I think maybe one other time. But he told me to practice that he listened to the show and that he obviously liked what we did. I was very appreciative of that. So I don't know if he still does that or not. But I think he's a good kid, and I really liked the way he played. So I wish he had stuck around a little bit longer. Doesn't it seem like Aiden may have set Alabama up for failure when they play us? Our players are the last people you want to betray. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where if you're going to leave, and even just leave room for there to be interpretation that you said the wrong things or stuff like that, you better be ready to back it up. But there's also been some jawing from our side too. So everybody be ready to back it up, because somebody's going to have egg on their face. That's why I don't really make a big deal about it or anything like that. There's enough motivation. There's enough animosity. There's enough in the Iron Bowl aspect of anything, the Auburn-Alabama rivalry of anything, than just Aiden Holloway, that's just people that want to sound snappy on social media and stuff like that. They're like, oh, Aiden Holloway did this. And I'm like, these are the same people that obsess over what Brian Harsin said at this point. Like, you're the same ones that say, let it die, let him go off into the sunset. And you keep bringing it up. If you don't want him to be brought up, don't bring him up. That's all I'm saying. He wants attention, don't give it to him. Anyway, sorry, I got on another rant tonight. I'm trying to think through my checklist of things. We have talked a little bit about SEC basketball tonight. We have talked about, obviously, some Christmas stuff, holiday stuff. What else? Anybody else want to share anything, Auburn, that they got in the chat? We've got some people that have shared a few things on social media with us when we made a post about it. I saw a lot of sweaters, Auburn sweaters, a lot of those type of things, but I'm interested to see if anybody else got anything like super unique or anything like that. Austin on the show revealed that he got a nice Jordan Hare stadium figurine thing that he's going to put in his snow village. That was a pretty cool thing. I'm kind of jealous of. Yeah, Neil, we brought this up when Kevin called in. He brought it up. So super excited to have Jeremiah Wright back. A lot of speculation out there that was going to happen. So for that to come to fruition is kind of that extra little icing now that's being laid on the cake that was built for recruiting and transfer portal. and leading into next year. So if I continue to use the baking analogy, you're starting to feel like the ingredients were already brought together. Now we're just starting to spice it up with extra stuff, or we're trying to add that extra thing that's going to make the cake fluffier. How long can I stay on this baking analogy? And then it's not ready to be, the batter's being made, right? It's finally starting to smooth out, be together. And before you know it, when we hit spring, we're going to start putting it in the oven for its first round of like heating it up. It's one of those things that's got to be like baked twice or something like that. Kept it going way too long. He says, you're right, Kyle. It's like those people that keep bringing up Gus. Let it go. Hey, I do not bring up Gus Malzahn unless it's brought up to me. Usually. Now, there's obviously times I've probably done without being prompted, but I try not to rehash things like that unless it's brought up. If I feel like there's something being said that is untrue, especially about the Gus narrative out there, I'm certainly going to speak out against it. Did you talk about the game against Mizzou? A little bit. Somebody posted earlier about the length of Missouri, how they felt like that was going to be. I think it was Tim. Was it Tim? Yeah, Tim seemed like, I think it was Tim that did that. Haven't really dove a lot into that just because I don't do a lot of like previews of stuff in basketball. I just feel like it's hard to really do a quality preview in basketball. But certainly I'm excited the fact that we get to do start SEC play at home. This is way off topic. It's Auburn Family Night. As long as you can make it orange and blue, it's not off topic. But when you get married, did you have any Auburn items at your wedding? My wife got me a giant AU groom's cake. First of all, Neil, let me reiterate this. This is not off topic. I love these type of questions. So I need more of these type of things from you and everybody else. I do actually, I like this stuff. So the question again, when you got married, did you have any AU items at your wedding? My wife got me a giant AU groom's cake. Similar to what you just said. I think I had a white cake, but the white cake was in an orange and blue stripes in the middle of it. And I think there was a chocolate icing on the outside of it. And then there was an AU thing on the top of it. So that I seem to recall we had like a small reception with like, not even like table. I mean, some tables, I think, but I think there was some like orange and blue ribbons on those. I seem to recall something with my suit for that day that was Auburn related. We did get married during the middle of an Auburn game. I hate that. But the result of it was good. I think that's the main stuff. Good question, though. Got a Broom jersey, he says. Then I have to get another basketball jersey once we switch to Nike. No, it's part of history, right? Like, you don't have to get another one. It's still going to be Janai Broom, and it's what he will have worn. Janai Broom won't wear Nike for us. He can't. There's no eligibility left. So you've got a piece of history right there. Let's see here. AU Christmas. Yeah, that's funny. Poor planning, Mark says on our part for that. No, it's called wise planning. You do what your future wife wants. And here's the thing. We got married on her birthday and my dad's birthday. They share the same birthday, and now my late father. That's pretty special. So it's hard to say no to that. Tim, we'll come back to that other statement here where we got some other things on topic. My wife wore an AU garter for something blue at our wedding. So yeah, I feel like Jessica did something similar. I could be wrong. I'll have to ask her out of this. It's going to bug me. I'm pretty sure. And she has been on, we used to do a podcast for track and field. She's a former track and field athlete in high school, but still an athlete. So we used to do that track and field podcast, but we're not doing that right. It probably won't return with us. If anybody else wants to do it for us, let us know. But she's been on stuff with us before. Tim says AU Christmas for trip to St. LaCroix, Virgin Islands. Oh, AU Christmas for trip to St. Croix, Virgin Islands, sunglasses, swimming suit, baseball hat. Is that your whole Christmas? Is that all like Auburn related? A baseball hat and an Auburn swimming suit? Like all of that is? That's a pretty good Christmas haul if it is. I got less. Last year I realized I got like one thing Auburn related for Christmas. This year I actually got some more things, so I was pretty happy about that. All right, we are sitting at 5 minutes in our normal scheduled time, so we'll start to kind of I know it's technically 57, but I got on here a little bit late. No, make your jokes, WT. But anyway, I'll take some other comments and questions here to round out the show. But let me give you some reminders of what's coming up next. We will leave the phone lines open for another minute or two, but this is your last shot tonight to get in and give it a try. This would be a good time just to test it out. Even if I don't get to you, just click it. Just get over the initial scaredness of clicking onto the link and trying to check in with us. Scheduled content stuff for us coming up the rest of the week here. Auburn versus Missouri post-game show, reaction show. We'll talk about it. I hope you guys can join us for that this Saturday right after the game, 4:00 Eastern time tip-off. We will go live right after that, so probably like 6:15, something like that. Depends on how the rest of the day's schedule goes. Episode 108 of the Auburn Experience podcast, recording live this Sunday night, 9 Eastern time. I repeat, that is 9 Eastern time. This Sunday, 108. We're going to talk about anything and everything orange and blue, sports, culture, family. Austin and I back in the saddle together, getting this new year started off right. Post-game show starting next week. We're moving into the next week for this. Auburn versus Texas at Texas. Join us for that post-game. That's what you have looking forward to in the week ahead as of us doing this live stream. Always check out the links in our description. One of those is our affiliate link. If you go to Alumni Hall as an affiliate of theirs through our link and you purchase something, you support them and you support us. Help us out by helping them out and getting yourself some Auburn gear so you help yourself out too. All right, final stuff here as we wind down our time. Let's see here. WT says that was good planning if it was her birthday and anniversary on the same day. One present covers both. You would think that's how it worked. But no. I will say I miss basketball jerseys once we switch to Nike. They look very clean and classic, and I will probably never be brought back. Yeah, I've been on my soapbox here about how I prefer Under Armour, and I won't go back into it today because I know a lot of people are very excited about Nike, and you should be. All right, last one here, and then we're going to cut it a little bit early, but I do got to run here. Most of my family graduated from Auburn, and we sang the fight song and yelled War Eagle as they cut the AUK. We had a Tiger Walk-esque exit with shakers, no sparklers or anything. It was shakers and things like that. So we did some things of that nature, and it was nice. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. We're going to get back into the saddle here. Wednesday night shows are back for the most part, other than some conflicts with a few basketball games, but that should be very minimal this year. But thank you guys for hanging out and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Till we talk to you again. War Eagle. I said goodbye to you guys, and then my thing messed up here, so we are trying to figure out how to pull you back up. Goodbye one more time.